Welcome back to ZE Coins. If you're a coin collector, history buff, or simply someone who enjoys the thrill of discovering hidden treasures, you're in for a treat today. In this video, we're diving deep into the world of Washington quarters, uncovering the top 8 most valuable specimens that have shocked the numismatic community with their incredible worth. Some of these coins have sold for tens of thousands, even millions of dollars in private sales and public auctions. So stay tuned as we count down the most coveted Washington quarters in existence. We're diving deep into the fascinating history and hidden value of the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. You might have one of these coins in your pocket change right now, but after this video, you'll want to take a second look because some of these coins could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features the iconic bust of Washington on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. That reverse design stayed in use all the way up to the State Quarters series in 1999. But today, we are zooming in on one specific year, 1973. Now, the year 1973 may not seem like a big deal at first glance. No silver was used in regular circulation quarters after 1964. And the 1973 quarter was struck using the standard copper-nickel clad composition. So what makes this coin special? The answer lies in the details: mint marks, condition, and rare minting errors. First, let's break down the mints. In 1973, the Washington quarter was produced at 3 locations. The Philadelphia Mint, which made over 350 million quarters that year. The Denver Mint, which produced around 232 million. And finally, the San Francisco Mint, which struck a little over 2.5 million quarters, but these were not for circulation. They were proof coins, made specifically for collectors, and they're some of the most valuable examples from this year. So what should you be looking for? Well, regular 1973 quarters from Philadelphia and Denver in average circulated condition are generally only worth their face value, 25 cents. But when you get into uncirculated condition, the story changes. Mint state examples, especially those graded MS65 and higher by PCGS or NGC, can fetch between $5 and $25 depending on the mint mark and eye appeal. That might not seem like a lot, but remember, this is a coin that people often overlook entirely. And now let's talk about the proof versions from San Francisco. These coins carry the S mint mark and were struck using special dies on highly polished blanks to give them a mirror-like finish. A flawless 1973 S-proof quarter in perfect PR70 deep cameo condition has sold for over $1,000 at auction. That's right, over $1,000 for a 25-cent coin. But that's not even the top end. Of the real treasures are the error coins. Some 1973 quarters were struck off-center. Others were double-struck. Some were even struck on the wrong planchet, like the rare 1973 quarter struck on a dime blank. These minting errors are incredibly scarce and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and condition. One of the most dramatic finds was a 1973 D quarter that was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet. It weighed less than the standard clad quarter and turned out to be a leftover from the special 40% silver planchets used in some Eisenhower dollars and special sets from prior years. That coin sold for thousands at auction. Imagine finding one of those in your change. Even among non-error coins, condition is everything. A 1973 quarter that's been well preserved with sharp details, brilliant luster, and no scratches or wear can skyrocket in value. That's why it's always worth checking coins for signs of high grade. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting to look at Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the rims of the coin. Weak strike or wear in those areas can knock down the value fast. Now let's talk about the current market. Coin collecting is hot right now. Demand for rare and high-grade coins has surged over the past few years. As of 2025, a certified MS67 or better 1973 Washington quarter can command prices well above $100, especially for Denver Mint coins, which are harder to find in high grade. Proof coins with deep cameo contrast and no flaws are still fetching strong prices, often selling for several hundred or more when slabbed in graded PR69 or PR70 by trusted grading services. If you're a collector, a reseller, or just someone with an interest in coins, the 1973 Washington quarter is a coin to watch. Most are common, yes, but a rare few are worth far more than you'd ever expect. So next time you get change back at the grocery store, take a moment and check the date. You just might be holding onto a piece of history or even a small fortune. We uncover the hidden treasures of American coin history. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting in your pocket change right now, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it may look like just another worn piece of change, but some of these coins have shocked collectors by selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. If you have one, this might just be the video that changes your fortune. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. For decades, it was struck in 90% silver. But everything changed in 1965. That was the year the United States Mint removed silver from the quarter, shifting to a copper-nickel clad composition due to rising silver prices and a national coin shortage. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1965 quarter marked the beginning of a new era. But because the transition from silver to clad happened so suddenly, there were mix-ups at the mint. And it's those mix-ups that make the 1965 quarters so intriguing to collectors today. One of the most famous and valuable errors is the 1965 quarter that was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet. That's right. Even though the official switch to copper-nickel happened that year, a small number of quarters were mistakenly struck using leftover silver blanks from 1964. These are incredibly rare. To the naked eye, they look like ordinary coins, but when weighed on a precise scale, silver quarters weigh about 6.25 grams, while clad quarters weigh around 5.67 grams. That slight difference could mean a big payday. Let's talk numbers. A genuine 1965 silver quarter can fetch anywhere from several $100s to over $5,000 depending on its condition and the buyer's interest. Some have sold at auction for more than $7,000, especially when certified by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. These coins are the unicorns of modern quarters. Rare, valuable, and extremely exciting to find, but that's not the only valuable version of the 1965 quarter. There are also high-grade examples in mint state condition that can sell for big money. Coins graded MS67 and higher can go for several hundred to over $1,000. These are quarters that were preserved perfectly since the day they were minted, showing full detail, no wear, and incredible eye appeal. They're usually found in old mint sets or carefully saved rolls, not from everyday change. Another variation to look for is the so-called double die or other striking errors. These coins feature misaligned or doubled images due to mistakes during the minting process. Although rare, collectors love these kinds of mint errors, and they often command high prices on the market. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is worth more than 25 cents? First, check the weight. You'll need a digital scale that measures in grams. If your quarter weighs close to 6.25 grams, you might have a silver planchet error. Next, look at the edges. A clad quarter will show a distinct copper-colored edge. A silver quarter will have a solid silver edge with no trace of copper. Also, consider sending your coin to a professional grading service for authentication. They can confirm whether you've found something truly special, and their certification can dramatically increase the value of your coin when selling. Now let's talk about the current market in 2025. The coin collecting hobby is alive and thriving, and values for rare quarters continue to rise. Collectors are constantly searching for high-grade coins, silver errors, and unique varieties. Because of inflation, precious metal demand, and increased interest in tangible assets, rare coins are gaining momentum in the investment world. A certified 1965 silver quarter in high grade can easily cross the $5,000 mark. Even ordinary mint state quarters from 1965 can sell for $100 to $400 depending on the grade. And with more people searching their old change and inherited collections, the hunt is more exciting than ever. If you're looking to sell, you'll want to work with a reputable coin dealer or sell at an auction house specializing in numismatics. Online marketplaces like eBay also have a strong community, but do your research and look for coins that have been graded by professional services to avoid scams and fakes. To wrap it up, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of American history and a potential goldmine for collectors. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, keep an eye out for those special traits: unusual weight, solid silver color, mint errors, and pristine condition. Your everyday quarter could be worth a small fortune. We're diving into the story behind a coin you may have in your pocket or coin jar right now, the 1987p Washington quarter. You might think it's just pocket change, but don't be fooled. Some of these coins are worth way more than 25 cents. In fact, certain versions of the 1987p quarter have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. So what makes these coins so valuable? Stay tuned as we uncover the fascinating history, rare varieties, errors, and market values of the 1987p Washington quarter. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, originally created to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The coin has gone through several design changes over the decades, but in 1987, the quarter still featured the classic John Flanagan obverse design, a left-facing portrait of Washington with the word Liberty above, "In God We Trust" on the left, and the date at the bottom. The reverse shows the heraldic eagle design, also by Flanagan, which was used from 1932 until the late 1990s. Now, let's focus on the specific coin in question, the 1987p Washington quarter. The P Mint mark signifies it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, over 582 million quarters were produced in Philadelphia alone. So yes, it's a common coin in circulation. But as always, the devil is in the details. So how can a common coin like this be worth big money? It comes down to a few factors: condition, mint errors, and collector demand. Let's talk about condition first. Most 1987p quarters that you'll find in circulation today are worn from decades of use. But if you happen to have a coin in mint state condition, and by that, we mean a coin that was never circulated and still has its original luster, it could be worth far more. Coins graded MS65 and above by PCGS or NGC can fetch between $10 and $50 depending on demand and eye appeal. But that's just the beginning. The real money is in the high-grade coins. For example, an exceptional 1987p Washington quarter graded MS67 by PCGS can sell for over $500 at auction. Why? Because out of the hundreds of millions produced, only a tiny fraction survive in such pristine condition. Collectors looking to complete high-end registry sets will pay a premium for these top-graded coins. Now let's talk about the showstoppers, the error coins. This is where values really start to skyrocket. Some of the most valuable 1987p quarters are those with striking or planchet errors. For instance, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong planchet can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity and condition. One notable example is a 1987p quarter struck on a 5-cent planchet. That's right, a quarter that was accidentally struck on a nickel blank. These errors are extremely rare and highly collectible. One such coin has sold for over $1,200 at auction. Another prized error is the double die obverse or reverse. Although no major double die varieties have been officially recognized for the 1987p quarter, collectors still keep an eye out for subtle doubling around the lettering or numbers. Any verified double die from this year would immediately catch the attention of the numismatic community and could sell for hundreds of dollars or more. Let's not forget about full strike details. Coins that display full detail on both the eagle's feathers and Washington's hair curls are harder to find and more valuable. These are especially attractive to collectors who value strike sharpness in addition to surface preservation. So what's the current market for these coins like in 2025? Well, interest in classic Washington quarters is still going strong. With the rise of coin collecting as both a hobby and an investment, more people are hunting for valuable coins in everyday change. The 1987p quarter, especially in high grades or with dramatic mint errors, remains a sleeper coin with big potential. If you want to check your coins, here's what to look for. First, examine the condition. If the coin looks nearly flawless with no wear, it might be a mint state example. Use a magnifier to check the strike. Look for sharp lines, clean edges, and strong detail on the eagle's wings. Second, check for any unusual features, off-center strikes, missing letters, strange rims, or odd thickness. If it looks off, it could be a valuable mint error. And finally, consider getting high-grade coins professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Certified coins tend to bring higher prices at auctions and online sales because the grade is verified by trusted third-party experts. So next time you get change back at the store or dig into your coin jar, don't overlook the 1987p Washington quarter. You might just have a valuable piece of American history hiding in plain sight. We're diving deep into the story of a modern American coin that's turning heads among collectors across the country, the 1995 D Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might think a coin minted in the mid-90s wouldn't be worth much more than 25 cents, but you'd be surprised. In fact, certain examples of this coin have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on condition, errors, and rarity. So stay tuned as we break down everything you need to know about the 1995 D quarter, its history, unique characteristics, and most importantly, its current market value and potential to earn you big money. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American pocket change since 1932, when it was first issued to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. For more than 6 decades, the quarter's design remained largely the same, with Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. By 1995, the U.S. Mint was still producing these classic-style quarters, just a few years before the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, which would go on to completely revolutionize quarter collecting in America. The 1995 D quarter, as you might guess, was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small d mint mark on the right side of Washington's ponytail. That year, over 1.1 billion Washington quarters were produced across all mints, and Denver alone struck more than 1.1 billion of them. That's a massive number, which means that most 1995 D quarters you find in circulation today will only be worth face value. But here's where things get interesting. While the average 1995 D quarter is common, some rare varieties and mint errors can make individual coins worth a small fortune. Collectors look for things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins in perfect uncirculated condition, specifically those graded MS65 or higher. That's where the real money comes in. So let's talk about value. In circulated condition, that is, coins that have been used in everyday transactions and show some signs of wear, a 1995 D quarter is usually worth just 25 cents. Maybe a few cents more if it's in very good shape. However, when we look at mint state examples, the story changes dramatically. Coins graded MS60 to MS63 can bring in anywhere from $1 to $5. As the grade increases to MS65 and beyond, values begin to climb significantly. MS66 coins can sell for $20 to $50. And if you're lucky enough to have an MS67, the price jumps to around $150 to $200. But what if you find a 1995 D quarter graded MS68? That's where the real collectors come out to play. Only a handful of these ultra-high-grade coins exist, and when they hit the auction block, they can fetch well over $1,000. In fact, one MS68 example sold at auction for over $1,500. That's right, a single quarter worth more than some people's rent. Not bad for pocket change. Now let's talk about errors, because in coin collecting, error coins are often the holy grail. A known example of a valuable 1995 D error quarter is one struck on the wrong planchet. For instance, if a quarter was struck on a dime planchet, it would appear smaller and have missing details, a clear mint mistake. These types of error coins can sell for hundreds of dollars or more. Another variety to look out for is the double die. While most famous on the 1955 Lincoln cent, double dies also occur on modern coins like the 1995 D quarter, and can be spotted by looking for doubled letters in the word Liberty or In God We Trust. If you suspect you found a valuable 1995 D quarter, either an error coin or one in exceptional condition, it's worth getting it professionally graded. Third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade coins, giving you an official certification that can significantly boost your coin's resale value. Even if it costs a little to get it graded, the payoff can be massive if your coin is rare enough. Let's bring it all together. The 1995 D Washington quarter is a fascinating piece of numismatic history. While billions were minted and most are still worth just 25 cents, a select few have proven to be highly valuable to collectors. Whether it's a mint state example with a near-perfect grade or a rare error coin with a striking anomaly, there's always the potential to find treasure in your loose change. So the next time you're digging through your coin jar or get a handful of change from the grocery store, take a close look, because that ordinary-looking quarter just might be worth a whole lot more than you think. If that everyday coin could be worth thousands of dollars? Well, today we're diving deep into the story of one specific coin that might just surprise you. We're talking about the 1998 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin that most people overlook but collectors know might be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Let's rewind the clock to 1998. This was the final year before a major turning point in American coinage. In 1999, the U.S. Mint would launch the wildly popular 50-state quarters program. But before that happened, the 1998 quarters were struck using the same classic design that had been in use since 1932. The obverse featured George Washington's profile, originally sculpted by John Flanagan. The reverse showed the familiar eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. This design had been a staple of U.S. coinage for over 60 years, and now, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 896 million Washington quarters in 1998. That's right, nearly 900 million coins. So how could a coin with that kind of massive mintage be valuable? It all comes down to condition, mint errors, and varieties. Let's start with the basics. A regular 1998 P Washington quarter pulled from circulation is worth face value just 25 cents. Even in slightly better shape, you might only get a few cents over face if you try to sell it. But if that same quarter is in pristine, uncirculated condition, say, graded mint state 65 or higher, it could be worth a few dollars. In fact, some MS-67 examples have sold at auction for between $30 and $70. Not bad for pocket change, right, but it gets more interesting. One of the main reasons collectors look for 1,998 quarters is because of known error coins in die varieties. Error coins are minting mistakes that escaped quality control and made it into circulation. These can include doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong metal. One notable example from 1998 is a double die obverse, where parts of the design appear slightly doubled. It's subtle, but sharp-eyed collectors spot it in the word liberty or the motto "In God We Trust." If verified, such coins can bring in $100 or more depending on the severity and clarity of the doubling. Even more exciting are transitional errors. In 1999, the U.S. Mint switched to a slightly different obverse design for the state quarters, modified by artist William Cousins. That change didn't officially occur until the next year, but some transitional pieces might have been struck using mismatched dies. These coins are rare and not yet fully cataloged, but their discovery would be like hitting a numismatic jackpot. Let's talk high-end value for a moment. In the world of coin grading, the top of the mountain is MS-68 or better. These coins are not just uncirculated, they're essentially flawless under magnification. Only a few examples of the 1998 P Washington quarter have ever been certified at MS-68. When they show up at major auctions, they can command serious prices. In fact, one such coin sold for over $1,000. Yes, over $1,000 for a modern quarter. And now, what about proof coins? In 1998, the San Francisco Mint also struck special proof quarters with a mirror-like finish, primarily for collectors. These have the S Mint mark, not P. They're not rare, but if you have one in deep cameo ultra high-grade condition, it could be worth around $20 to $30, sometimes more if it's flawless. So how do you know if your 1998 quarter is valuable? First, check the mint mark. If it has a P, it came from Philadelphia. Then examine the coin closely for any errors or signs of doubling. Look for sharpness in the strike and how well the details stand out. And finally, if you think you have something special, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. The grading process adds legitimacy and can significantly boost your coin's market value. Let's touch on today's market. As of 2025, demand for modern error coins and high-grade examples continues to grow. Younger collectors and digital marketplaces like eBay, Whatnot, and heritage auctions have made it easier than ever to sell coins and reach buyers worldwide. A clean 1998 P quarter in MS-67 or MS-68 condition can still sell for hundreds if not more. And error coins? Those can go viral and fetch thousands when the right collector spots them. To wrap this up, the 1998 P Washington quarter dollar might look like an ordinary coin, but it has hidden stories, value, and intrigue for those who know where to look. Whether it's a high-grade mint state example, a rare double die, or a transitional error, this coin reminds us that even something as small as a quarter can carry a big payoff. So next time you get change from the store or check the coins in your drawer, don't ignore the humble 1998 P quarter. You never know, your next coin could be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1998 P Washington quarter, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss our next video on rare and valuable coins. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare quarter or want to know the value of another coin. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in modern U.S. coinage, the 2005 Kansas State Quarter, specifically those with rare mint mark varieties, errors, and exceptional characteristics that make them worth far more than just 25 cents. Yes, I'm talking about a coin that could be sitting unnoticed in your change jar right now. You could be holding on to something that's worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. So stay tuned, because this is a story of history, minting mistakes, and the surprising value hiding in plain sight. Let's start at the beginning. In 2005, as part of the popular 50-state quarters program, the U.S. Mint released the Kansas State Quarter. The reverse design features a majestic American bison standing in a Kansas prairie with tall grass, symbolizing the natural beauty of the sunflower state. The words Kansas 1861, commemorating its statehood, are engraved prominently, but here's where it gets interesting. While most of these coins were struck without any issues, a small number were minted with unusual and valuable errors. One of the most famous of these is known in the collecting community as the "In God We Rust" error. Yes, you heard that right, because of a grease-filled die, some coins were struck missing part of the inscription "In God We Trust," leaving behind a shocking misprint that appears to say "In God We Rust." A funny error, but a serious collectible. These "In God We Rust" coins have sold for as little as $50 and as much as several $100s depending on condition. But that's just the beginning. Now let's talk about mint marks and rare varieties. The 2005 Kansas Quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, can have its own value spikes, especially if you find one in uncirculated or high-grade condition. While Philadelphia struck coins are not as scarce as their Denver counterparts, what collectors are hunting for are mint errors and die varieties. One such error involves double die outbursts, where parts of the design like Liberty or the date show clear signs of doubling under magnification. These doubled dies, when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command premium prices at auctions. Another valuable find? Off-center strikes. If you find a Kansas quarter where the design isn't centered and part of it is missing, but the date and mint mark are still visible, you could be looking at a coin worth well over $100, and sometimes more. Let's not forget about strike-through errors. These happen when foreign materials like wire, cloth, or even grease get between the die and the coin during minting. The result? Bizarre and one-of-a-kind coins that are very popular among error collectors. Now, let's talk value. A normal 2005 Kansas quarter in circulated condition is worth face value, just 25 cents. But once you get into mint state condition, especially MS65 and above, things change. A well-struck coin with no blemishes or scratches can bring in $5 to $15, depending on market demand. Coins graded MS67? Those start to get truly valuable, some selling for $100 to $300. If you're lucky enough to come across an MS68, one of the finest known, those are considered registry-grade coins. There are very few in existence, and those have been known to sell for over $1,000 at high-profile auctions. So, how do you know if your Kansas quarter is valuable? First, look for errors. Missing letters, doubled designs, off-center strikes, die cracks, or anything that looks odd, those are your biggest clues. Second, check the condition. Use a 5x or 10x magnifying loupe to look at the coin's surface. No scratches, no discoloration, no wear? You might have something special. Third, consider sending it to a professional grading service. PCGS and NGC are the gold standards, and a certified grade can significantly boost your coin's market value. Let's wrap it up with some current market data. As of right now, 2005 Kansas quarters with the "In God We Rust" error in average circulated condition are selling for $30 to $75. In mint condition, they can fetch $100 or more. High-grade Kansas quarters without any errors, just flawless coins, are reaching auction prices of $250 to $1,500 depending on the grade and rarity, and that's why it pays to check your change. The 2005 Kansas State Quarter is more than just a piece of loose change, it's a potential treasure. Whether it's a rare error like the "In God We Rust" variety, a perfectly struck MS68 coin, or a bizarre minting accident, there's a lot of money hiding in this small silver-colored disc. So go ahead, dig through those old coin jars, check your pocket change, and keep your eyes peeled. You just might find a piece of American minting history and a small fortune. Did you know that a simple quarter from 2017 with a tiny D mint mark could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today? Yes, that's right. Some of these coins are hiding in plain sight, and collectors are paying top dollar for rare and special varieties. So before you spend that 25 cents, make sure you watch this video because your change might be worth a small fortune. Hello coin collectors, treasure hunters, and curious minds. Welcome back to the channel where we dig deep into numismatic knowledge, rare coin finds, and everything in between. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2017 D-Mint Mark $quarter coins and why these coins are capturing the attention of collectors across the country. The year 2017 was an important one for the America the Beautiful Quarter series. That year featured 5 beautiful designs celebrating national sites across the United States. These include effigy mounds in Iowa, Frederick Douglass in the District of Columbia, Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri, Ellis Island in New Jersey, and George Rogers Clark National Historical Park in Indiana. Each of these quarters was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But the ones we are focusing on today are the Denver Mint coins, marked with a small D on the obverse of the coin next to Washington's ponytail. Now here's where things get interesting. Most circulated 2017 D quarters are only worth face value, but certain conditions, errors, and varieties can increase the value significantly. Coins in pristine condition, those graded MS67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can fetch high premiums at auctions and private sales. On top of that, there are error coins from the Denver Mint that are worth hundreds. Some of these errors include double dies, off-center strikes, and die breaks. Let's break down which ones to look for. Let's start with the effigy mounds quarter. A Denver minted effigy mounds in MS67 condition can sell for between $80 and $250 depending on the market. But a coin with a dramatic die clash or double die obverse has sold for more than $400. Next up is the Frederick Douglass quarter. Collectors have reported finding Denver minted versions with off-center errors and reverse die breaks. These varieties have sold for over $300 when in excellent condition. The Ozark quarter is another key one. A flawless 2017 D Ozark quarter has sold at auction for nearly $600 in MS68 condition. That's 2,400 times face value. Now let's talk about the Ellis Island quarter. This one has seen a number of collectible varieties including repunched mint marks and die chips. High-grade examples from Denver have reached up to $200. Finally, the George Rogers Clark quarter. This design has become a favorite among collectors. A Denver Mint coin in mint state with strong luster and no contact marks has sold for nearly $1,000 when graded MS68 by PCGS. So how can you tell if your 2017 D quarter is worth big money? Here's what to look for. 1. The condition. A coin must be nearly perfect to get a high grade. That means no scratches, sharp details, and full luster. 2. Look for errors. Check under magnification for any doubling on the lettering or unusual lines or breaks on the coin's surface. 3. Check for known varieties. Research known errors and varieties for each 2017 design. Websites like Variety Vista and Wexler's Die Varieties are excellent sources. 4. Get your coin graded. If you think you have something special, send it to a professional grading service. A certified grade can increase the coin's value dramatically. As of now, in 2025, the coin market continues to thrive. Modern quarters, especially from limited or short print runs, are gaining interest. The 2017 D quarters are still being searched in rolls and pocket change because of their collectability and the potential value in mint state or error form. Current market prices for high-grade 2017 D quarters range from $50 to over $1,000 depending on the specific design, grade, and rarity of any errors present. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and online platforms such as eBay continue to see strong sales on these coins. So there you have it. That 2017 D-Mint Mark quarter sitting in your change jar might just be your ticket to a nice payday. Take a closer look, educate yourself on what to watch for, and you just might find a treasure hiding in plain sight. We're diving deep into the story of a modern-day gem that's caught the attention of collectors across the country, the 2018 D-Mint Mark $quarter. Now you might be thinking, it's just a recent coin, probably not worth much, right? Well, hold that thought, because some of these quarters are not only rare, they're worth a surprising amount of money today. In this video, we'll explore the history, unique varieties, rare errors, and current market value of the 2018 D-Mint quarter, and why you might want to check your pocket change immediately. Segment 1, Background and History. Let's set the stage with a little history. In 2018, the United States Mint continued its popular America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010. This program celebrated national parks and sites across the United States with unique reverse designs. In 2018, 5 new designs were released: Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan, Apostle Islands National Lakeshore in Wisconsin, Voyagers National Park in Minnesota, Cumberland Island National Seashore in Georgia, Block Island National Wildlife Refuge in Rhode Island. Each design headquarters minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D Mint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. While millions were made, not all are created equal, and that's where things get exciting. Segment 2, Minting in DISTRIBUTIO and the Denver Mint produced millions of each 2018 quarter design. For example, the Pictured Rocks D Mint quarter had a mintage of over 182 million. But here's the twist: among these millions, there are special coins, ones with striking errors, low population varieties, and pristine conditions that make collectors pay a premium. Why does that happen? In mass production, even small inconsistencies or rare misstrikes can turn ordinary coins into collector's gold. Some collectors are specifically on the lookout for high-grade uncirculated coins, die varieties, and mint errors. Segment 3, Key Varieties in ERRS. Now let's talk about what can make your 2018 D Mint mark quarter worth more than 25 cents. Double die obverse. Some 2018 quarters show signs of doubling on the lettering of the obverse, including Liberty, In God We Trust, or the mint date. These doubling effects are rare and can boost the coin's value significantly. Off-center strikes, coins that were not properly centered during striking. Depending on the severity, these errors can be worth anywhere from $25 to over $100. Cuts and die breaks. A cut is a raised area on the coin's surface due to a broken die. This type of mint error adds value due to its visual uniqueness. High-grade MS67 or MS68, most circulated quarters are nowhere near mint state, but those that have been preserved carefully and graded by services like PCGS or NGC can fetch anywhere between $50 and $300 depending on the specific design and rarity in that grade. Segment 4, Most Valuable 2018 D Quarters Ever Sold. Let's take a look at some actual sales to give you an idea of real-world value. A 2018 D Cumberland Island Quarter graded MS68 by PCGS sold for over $400 at auction. Why? Because that grade is extremely rare for that issue. Another example, a Block Island D Mint mark quarter in pristine MS67 plus condition sold for nearly $300. Error coins have also done well. An off-center 2018 D Apostle Islands quarter with 15% misalignment sold for about $120. And coins with die clashes or retained cut errors are fetching anywhere between $50 and $200 depending on eye appeal and rarity. Segment 5, What TO look for and how TO find THEM. If you're wondering whether you've got a valuable coin in your pocket or coin jar, here's what you need to do. First, examine the mint mark. Make sure it's a 2018 coin with a D under the word In God We Trust. Next, use a 10x loupe or coin magnifier to inspect both the obverse and reverse for signs of doubling, misstrikes, or unusual raised areas. Check the condition. Coins with minimal scratches, sharp luster, and strong strike details are your best bet for high-grade submissions. Finally, consider sending promising coins to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade adds legitimacy and resale value. Segment 6, Current Market TRENDSO. What are these coins worth today in 2025? Let's break it down by type. Circulated 2018 D quarters in average condition, still worth face value. Uncirculated rolls from the mint, selling for $20 to $30 per roll, depending on the design. Mint state 66 to 67 coins, often selling for $20 to $100. Top population coins, MS68 or error coins, can fetch $200 to $500 or even more. The market for modern coins is growing, especially among young collectors, and as more collectors seek out complete sets or high-grade modern issues, the demand is likely to remain strong. Closing THOUGHTSO. The next time you get change back from the store, keep an eye out for that 2018 D Mint mark. What looks like just another quarter could actually be a hidden gem worth hundreds of dollars. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, this is one coin series that proves you don't always have to dig through history books to find treasure. Sometimes it's right there in your pocket. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and drop a comment below telling us what rare coins you found. Until next time, happy collecting!